Welcome back, everyone, to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast. This time we have A2E2. Let's take some water. 2v2 on 3 points. We have Black Panther and Furio, the Germans. And yeah, as you can see, Black Panther is telling that he's actually Ulumulu. You remember him? Yes, you do. He's the OKW, and his friend is the Wehrmacht. On the enemy team, we have Viper and Redstone. Playing as the Westerners, the Westerner allies. Got the Brits and the Americans, and it's 3 points, which means that the Brits are probably going to have a lot of building things. But this is nice usage of the early game damage boost from that 50%, green cover shield.
Section of Tommies has been trained.
I don't exactly remember how much more powerful the British actually are, like what the actual bonus to the rate of fire is, but it definitely does help in putting down these Volksgrenadiers where they belong. As you can see, they get into the great building up here that's going to cover the entire center road, pushing back these folks where they belong. And now the MG42 is going to try to prevent these rare strand troops from providing support, but it's not going to be enough. They can get into the building, and yeah, so the south is going to be very much contested. It seems like the Germans are trying to get into the cemetery and set up a defensive position with machine guns, but it will be difficult for them considering that there's so many walls over here. They can't really cover all the possible lines of approach from the riflemen and the infantry sections and the infantry that's coming in from all flanks. And it's going to be very difficult for them to really get a good defensive position. In the meantime, Black Panther is trying to get himself situated on the left flank of the river, and it isn't really working out that well for him because he's been having problems with his infantry fighting against the enemy forces. So he doesn't really have that much capping power left to get the points actually capped, and at least the fuel is going to go to the Brits over here. Viper is moving in his infantry. You have riflemen moving in from the side to protect the mortar which has been picked by Redstone, possibly to destroy these MG42s from afar. Of course, that's going to make it a whole lot easier for him to take these points on the right. Of course, he needs to protect them, so that's going to be where these riflemen come in. And yeah, we'll see. So we have a bit of an MG duel. We have the MG42 and the church versus the normal British MG up here in the normal building. It seems like the British MG won along with the help of a mortar. And yeah, this means that the second machine gun over here is in big trouble because this one is in basically the open. And so considering that the second MG is running for it, the first MG is not going to have any chances of survival. It's going to need to run away as well. It does pack up and leave, but it's still getting peppered by that Vickers gunner, so it needs to either run away or try to hide behind this wall to be safe. It seems like Black Panther is going to go for a battle with quarters, and he has actually managed to get a cutoff move on the allies, so that was a very great move with the Sturm Pioneers, I think. Yeah, I don't see any other units running away from there, so yeah, well done from him, and now he can get back around into the left-hand flank and hopefully get some points over here because he absolutely needs this to be his priority at this point. He needs to get some of these points. He needs to prevent the allies from having the resource advantage and running away with it. Right now it's working considering the fuel income. As you can see, it's going pretty well for access. Nice flame grenades are going to collapse one of the buildings and destroy the machine gun
crew has been lost to enemy action.
The end of that machine gun, and that means that the Germans can just flood into the right side of the map that they already own most of, but they can take the rest and fortify it up at the choke point near the bridge over here. So this is going to put a lot more pressure upon this mortar to force back the Germans from their good defensive positions. But they're going to take some time to get rid of the, whatever blockades the allies are going to set up. Perhaps over here by the church, sorry, the axis. Perhaps over here by the church. Perhaps the mines that are going to be going down. Perhaps some sandbags, as you can see, being built by these Volksgrenadiers. It's going to take a lot of time for these Germans, and sorry, not for these Germans, for these Americans. And that's going to be more time that the Germans can harvest this fuel on the right for their purposes. So really, the Germans putting themselves ahead in the late game perspective, you could say. Now, it seems like the Allies are pushing in to the German base area. They're trying to get their infantry sections, capping these points, but I mean, can't really do too much about whatever the Germans are going to do to get it back, because it's just way too close to the Axis base. So as you can see, just Sturm Pioneers coming in, support fire from the support gun, and there they have to run away. Now, the Allies are going to try to fortify up the left-hand side, but it's going to be difficult for them to get a good solid line going, because again, the Germans do have this support gun. They can get yet more support guns if they so wish, but right now they're going for a half-track, a flak half-track, and they're also getting a mortar half-track from Spearhead Doctrine. So that's going to be a lot of indirect fire and a lot of anti-building support that can be called in by the Axis against this mortar kit. So it's not going to be that easy for Viper to just use that as kind of a bulwark, as kind of a base that they to defend the left. They're going to need to be playing a proactive defense, and that's going to include some nice harassment to the right-hand side, to the south and the right. So right now, as you can see, some Royal Engineers moving down here. They're also going to try to get some units, I hope, to the sort of rear end of what the Germans have. Because just attacking the Volksgrenadiers and their defenses is, of course, not going to go all that well. But, you know. Yeah, we're going to see what they try. As you can see, some nice artillery fire already going down on these Royal Engineers. Not nice for the Royal Engineers, though. They have to run away. Redstone himself, he has gone for the Lieutenant, of course. And he still hasn't decided on whether or not he should get the Captain or wait for the Major. I'm guessing he's going to wait for the Major. Here comes Flak. Flak destroys the mortar pit. So, combination of artillery fire and the light vehicle is going to be excellent to destroy that emplacement. And now the Germans have a lot more sort of options in the north, which is of course quite good. Bazookas being deployed by Redstone to counter the Flak half-track, which is a pretty decent choice. But it's going to need to be followed up by more, because only bazookas are going to be vulnerable and put together not enough to defeat that Flak. Volksgrenadiers taking a lot of damage. Try to run away and probably succeed. Machine gun gonna go down to the artillery fire, both the flaming mortar and the support gun doing a lot, and the Grenadiers putting in the finishing blow. We have an Armament 6 Pioneer anti-tank gun on the field for Vipers, clearly trying to counter the Flak, but Viper right now has a serious deficiency when it comes to infantry. He's got 2 infantry squads and then 2 more Royal Engineers with flamethrowers, of course, from the Royal Engineer Regiment. But he is going to be in a serious deficiency again when it comes to infantry, because he just doesn't have the bodies, the numbers that he can use to assault enemy positions. Although he is helping out his ally in the south, who does have a little bit more when it comes to the short bodies that he can throw and attack with. Still going to be at a disadvantage. Now, this is still not coming into play now, but it might in the future. We have Rangers actually coming in from Redstone, and that's probably a very good decision, considering that he's going to be fighting very fiercely, I think, on the right-hand side of the map, which includes a lot of close quarters combat, where these Rangers are really going to excel. In the meantime, it seems like we have a couple of German squads actually catching the anti-tank gun out of position. The anti-tank gun did manage to get close to a mine before being decrewed, so the mine exploding does prevent the Germans from immediately recruiting it. But here comes the Flak, which is going to be protecting the enemy route. Right? It seems like these engineers are going to have to escape out of their house, otherwise they're going to die. Even if they do escape, they might die anyway. It's not a good place to be a Royal Engineer right now, but it seems like the Flak missed a whole lot, so he's going to be fine. Germans are, again, doing quite well, but being very, very passive in this kind of points capture game on the left-hand side. They're not taking the VP, they're not taking the field, which is definitely a big mistake. It's allowing the Allies a little bit of breathing space, and now, as you can see, they're using that breathing space to come back on the right. So that's quite good for the allies. They're still kind of punching back. They're taking hits, but they're giving it back, and that's good. Redstone still has not upgraded the Major, and Viper is going now for the company command post. So both of the allied players kind of hedging their options. We do have a Centaur though coming for the Brits, and it seems like Redstone has decided to go for a couple of lovely rangers, so he's not going to need that much anti-infantry. He's not going to need that much anti-infantry, and he might want to go for the Jackson from the Major, because honestly he's going to be long way. He's 4 CPs as opposed to 13.
A capture point is being
Rangers proving their superiority once again, and yeah, as you can see, we used 4 full strangers and he's our way. And the Nerf AT gun has obviously been acquired by the Nazis. We also have the Kendra for anti-tank gun and 2 support guns. So again, Black Panther playing very defensively, and it's showing in the fact that he's absolutely demolishing Viper right now. In terms of both top cap and engagement, how they've been going, it should be that Black Panther has control over the left, but he doesn't, because he's been playing so damn defensively. But now finally he's able to get the field point, and hopefully soon the VP under his control.
Let's get her going! Keep low! Keep low!
Field, Redstone. He decided to go for the Captain instead of the Major. Interesting. You see one anti-tank guns? He's going for a Steward though, which might be a bad decision. He's going to lose the Lieutenant too, which is bad, obviously. But
we just lost a unit!
Yeah, why the Steward? I guess he's trying to get something that can deal with the machine guns and maybe down the warcraft truck. But I don't know, I feel it's too late for the Steward, and he should be doing that too, because the Nazis, they may not have any of those tiers built up. It looks like the Centaur went a little bit too far and was destroyed by his own anti-tank gun. Wasn't that obvious that it was going to happen? Probably. I mean, that Centaur should have been a lot more careful. Flaming mortar support at least is going to push those Nazis out, and they're now capping munitions for the Nazis, but okay. And as you can see, the Steward instantly gets Panzerfausted. So I don't know. I really don't know. What are the allies planning, really? I mean, we have Viper that went for a Centaur, and now she's going for the Centaur Part 2. Electric Boogaboo. But that might be a mistake, because look at this. Black Panther has 200 fuel, so soon he will have a Schwer Panzer headquarters, I'm guessing. And that means that soon he's also going to have a P4, at least if that's what he's going for. Or he could be waiting for, you know, 4 more CPs and get a Sturmtiger. Extremely dangerous to the Brits. Or he could go for the Panther command tank. Any of those options is going to be bad for a Centaur. Again, Centaur at 15 minutes when you have 1 anti-tank. You should be thinking about other options. Perhaps he could have gone for the Comet instead. You know, waiting a little bit longer and you know, trading that time for insurance that late game he's going to be competitive with his opponents. That could have been a good trade, I think, for the Brits. Because the Brits, you know, they've got a lot of late game options. They should just use them and not tunnel vision on those Centaurs. As much as the Centaurs are pretty good. Flammenwerfers. Yes, look at those sappers. They're not having the best of times though. Because, you know, it's good to have a flamethrower. It's even better to have a Sturm there. It's even better to have a 20mm automatic AA cannon. The problem is, that's not going to be. It's not going to be the top dog in the battlefield forever. Just like on the right side, the Stuart, who has done quite well for itself, is not bad anymore. It comes to Fancy 4, which gets its vision block damage by the Shell Shock ability. That saves the Stuart, as it is able to escape out of the graveyard. No graveyard for the Stuart, and yeah, that's gonna let the Germans recapture the right side mostly, but of course, that saves the Stuart and it saves a lot of the American units on the right. Centaur decides to come in on the right side and fight the Fancy 4. I am, well, I was proposing for a Darwin War, and now he needs to run the hell away on the other side of the bridge, but Fancy 4 is being relentless in its pursuit. The Stuart has been repairing though, and with the repairing, he does not have enough munitions to use any shell shock or point-blank engine shots, so while its brave action is going to save the Centaur, it is going to just very, very barely survive, and essentially survive thanks to its luck rather than anything else. So this is not going to last forever for the Allies. They've been getting lucky so far in many ways. One, in the fact that the Germans have been playing very defensively, and two, in the fact that the Germans have been getting just, you know, relatively unlucky in their actual engagements. Just in engagements that they should have won more decisively, they got kind of screwed over either by the RNG or, you know, how things were going. And so they are still in this game, but the Germans really have the upper hand in here. And I mean, I think it's showing. Like, look at where the Allied. Just don't look at the map control. Look at where the Allied units are positioned as opposed to the German ones. The German ones are in kind of a concave at 60% of the map, whereas the Allies are all huddled up in their base. That's two different postures that indicate, you know, one team that's being proactive and slowly moving forward to inch, you know, forward and get towards territory, and another one that's kind of cringing back into the base, you know, kind of the body language of what these two guys are, two teams rather, are doing. Finally, we're going to have a cap on the fuel point, and that's going to mean 33 fuel against 25. That is only thanks to a fuel cache, which is, you know, a decent solution in the meantime, but as soon as this point is snatched away, that's going to be 6 more fuel down the drain for the guys, so 19 as opposed to 25. Again, their fuel income, it's not that bad. It's always about how to use it. Of course, it's better to have the team. The problem with how they're using it, though, is that Redstone is not using his fuel because he's waiting for the Pershing. And I've talked to great lengths many times about waiting for the heavy tank or late game unit. And yeah, it's safe to say, I mean, Jackson served Redstone very, very well. Instead of just kind of piling on the resources for a Pershing, but he's still very far away from it, because remember, he's at 9 CPs, whereas the Pershing is at 30. So, you know, he needs to kill or lose a lot of units to get up to 13. Wow, that to get up to 13. It's going to take still quite a while. And that, in the meantime, is going to mean that this 271 fuel is not going to have any impact on what is going on around the map. Instead, if there had been a Jackson on field, it would be very helpful against this Panzer IV. Would be very helpful against any vehicles that the Germans are going to be bringing out in the future. Anyway, banter about that over. Vipper, how is he using his fuel? Well, we have 2 Centaurs. The second one is doing slightly better than the first one in terms of how long he's surviving, but still, it's not like he's doing much. And the second though, the Stuart is finally going to get taken down that corner after. Anyway, he's not. The Viper is not getting anything out of his features. Really, for a British player, kind of lackluster, because at this point in the game is when we should be starting to think about, you know, what am I going to go for in the late game? Viper has the REEEE, which he might be waiting for, but he's got a lot of other options at his disposal. He can go for hammer tactics, he gets anvil tactics, either of those. He can spam out prom rolls, considering that his opponent is not going for any vehicles yet. You know, he's got a lot of options. He's not really using any. So one of them died. here comes the P4. P4, which does get vision block damage by Stuart. Well done. And there's a second P4 just down here. That's the better one. Now that the vision block is damaged, the P4 is going to be a little bit less aggressive, but he's still going to be chasing in, getting that Centaur to kindly run away. Now he's going to be trying to push in its advantage, but the anti-tank gun is going to catch him off guard and get some damage off. However, these two P4s just absolutely do not care, because guess what? The only anti-tank the Brits have over here is an anti-tank gun, and the anti-tank gun can
Demolitions team is
kind
ready
of,
to give support.
Outflanked, although Panzer IV is really on the best of shapes, because the Centaur was a pretty good command vehicle, which
gun
means
is not
a lot of
Not anymore.
defensive stuff, but he's still going to die. This P4 chases, he doesn't chase. In the meantime, he was saved by the fact that the German infantry came out to support and destroy this anti-tank gun crew. The second anti-tank gun crew also dies. The first Panzer IV pops the smoke earlier to save himself. However, the Wehrmacht push is going to be kind of stifled by an American counterattack, moving in with all of what he has. Stuart goes down to the Panzerfaust from the Volksgrenadiers, so he's going to be finally biting the dust, and all the German vehicles have to run away because of their very low HP, but this was very, very, very much devastating for the Brits. His forward assembly was essentially breached by a determined push by just 2 medium tanks, and more are going to be coming in. So he's going to be really... He needs to think about, what am I going to do to stop this German armor swarm? And 218 guns is a kind of good start in the right direction, good step in the right direction, but he's going to need more. He's going to need some kind of vehicles of his own. And no, an AVRE is not going to be enough. Also, another Centaur? That's not going to be enough either. Looks like he's going to be trying to spam AT guns and use Centaurs to kind of protect the AT guns from enemy infantry, but it's not, again, it's just not going to work because the Germans also have indirect fire. And they just have also too much infantry for just, even 2 Centaurs to deal with, because guess what? If these 2 Grenadiers come in, they can mow down those anti-tank gun crews very, very quickly with their veteran G42s. And the Centaurs can't kill them quickly enough. Is the Ranger going to get wiped by the last mine? I don't know.
Indirect fire! Display! Combat promotion!
Comes a nice fragmentation bombing.
Weapon crew lost.
Well done. Are the Germans gonna follow up on this and push? Not a lot of infantry moving in. The tanks are still back in base repairing. Now they are repaired. There's a third P4 on the field. And oh boy, this is starting to look very, very bad for the Allies. There goes the forward assembly from the border. They're now using also the Panzergrenadiers in conjunction with some kind of suppression, I think, on the Americans. Anyway, yeah, this forward assembly going down means that no one can really cap these anti-tank guns, and then of course that means that the anti-tank guns are capped, which means that the Centaurs are going to be. Of course, there is the long-awaited Pershing on the field, but guess what? Redstone has 170 extra fuel that he could have used. But he didn't use. Now though he at least has fuel. However, he's not coming in to support his allies. As you can see, here comes the P4 destroy mercilessly the second Centaur, I should say. Now 3 P4s versus a Pershing with really no anti-tank gun support. The Panzer IVs are actually kind of feeling bold and trying to push in and taking down the Pershing. Chasing him down like this when the Pershing keeps at long range and kites away. Probably gonna be at the Pershing's advantage, but hey, they've pushed the Pershing back into the base. The thing that they've been waiting for all this time, and here comes the other big Papa Pump, is the KT. KT, which is soon going to be paired up with a Sturm here. And yeah, this is, if P4s have been too hard for the Allies to deal with, I'm guessing that KT is, it's going to be a little bit more than too much. Anyway, I need to get a nice screenshot. Also, I am really pissed. I am really pissed. I will not tell you why, but just know that there's something that really pisses me off. And I think I'll just speed through the rest, because I don't see how the Allies can come back. you know, AT
200
is
points remaining.
vital. Thinking about what you're going to be doing in the late game is also vital. You can't just get centaurs because they're good or meta, and then think you're going to win. If you do not build a nice kind of, you know, combined arms force. And then North Protection takes the mine and dies to the British AT guns.
Just lost a heavy tank.
Because Redstone just so here comes the first one. AI, as always, and then they can just go back into the base and they can win by annihilation. So, you know, the allies are probably just gonna like, you know, quit and surrender. That's my take on this. You know, buy AT, buy good vehicles, and always think about what the situation requires. Just because the enemies do not have armor doesn't mean these German players played kind of slow, which really lulled the allies into kind of a false sense of security in a way. And yeah, that was, in the end, not very good. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.